in Luke chapter 6 verse 37, it talks about pardoning, that you will be pardoned. And basically 37 through 38 is talking about doing unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And you know, everyone deserves a second chance, and usually, but sometimes I think we forget that, especially depending on what happened. And I think sometimes past experiences can cloud our judgment. This is kind of a testimony / tribute video, and it's also perfectly fitting for the 4th of July. There's a reason Jesus tells us to forgive. You know, it's more than just about opening up our fellowship with God. It's also good for us.
Sorry, people.
Yeah, somebody's rejoicing he got mail. Yay. Anyways, forgiveness isn't so much for the other person as it is for us. And I think we sometimes forget, especially in our hurt, that hurting people hurt people. So we don't necessarily have to reconcile or befriend those who wrong us, but we should let go for our sakes, if nothing else, and pray for them, because the Lord tells us to do that. Everybody is fighting their own battles, and this is a testimony. You've heard my testimony of salvation, how there was one person in particular that kind of made me feel like I was some kind of obligatory burden to the Lord. And the fact is, I had a battle of forgiving her and stuff for years, and the fact is, I always had a deep-seated hatred that I tried to shake, and it's a good thing that Christ has already won the war, because I lost the battle. And you'll have to excuse us, some little kids are biking around. Kids will be kids, right? Yeah. Well, little did I know that she really had, I'm sure, changed her ways at some point. But I was convinced that she was the same person always, that she was, and I knew her as a teenager. And even when I heard she was serving in the military, my automatic assumption was, yeah, I'll bet she gets dishonorably discharged. After all, this is the same person that always used Christian faith as an excuse to disrespect authority. Well, recently, and deep down the hate was strong enough that I'll admit it, I kind of always thought I'd rejoice if I found out she was dead. Yeah, I said it. Confession time. Well, what? And, yeah. And then I found out that she died a week or two ago. She really did die, and I admit my first reaction was shock, and then I said, so not that I care, but how did she die anyway? And then I looked for an obituary when I didn't get an immediate response, and then I just said, never mind. I looked at her obituary, and apparently no one knows how she died. So, and I apologized for coming off a little rude and explained that I haven't had the best of memories, and left it at that. I got called out by somebody, of course, and she informed me that she fought in the military, and she deserves our gratitude, and I agree. I said I probably could be a little more compassionate, and And if she really did die fighting for our country, then of course she has my gratitude. Well, I got a more updated obituary, but I struggled with trying to figure out why I cared at all that she was dead. And then I found a much more updated obituary that gave a little bit more information. Apparently, she got several awards in the military, and she became a sergeant. So there's no way she didn't change her ways, because if she had still been defiant, she wouldn't have become a sergeant and gotten all those awards. But apparently, she had her own struggles. She struggled with PTSD, and it didn't give too much information. It just said that she died in her own home after a long battle with PTSD. I'm not sure I really want to know what that really means, although I have my ideas and so does Coop. And I admit I blamed myself a little bit after I read that, and thought and wondered if maybe I'd have considered that maybe she had changed and reached out and offered her forgiveness. Maybe, just maybe, and given her another chance, maybe, just maybe, she could have had that little bit extra support. I mean, she had her family, so it's not like she didn't have a support system, but, you know, friends can be important too. And, yeah, but I've had to come to terms with the fact that, you know, I really can't blame myself for that, because, you know, she had problems before I met her, and she had problems after I met her. We all have problems, and she probably would have gotten PTSD even if I had been in. She would have been struggling with PTSD even if I had been in her life. She probably would have gotten PTSD even if I had been in her life. So there really was, and you know, who's to say that she would have actually wanted support and that she wouldn't have ended up pushing me away. And I'm not saying I shouldn't have tried and stuff, but, you know, the point is, this really isn't something I can blame myself for. So I have this to say as a tribute to Nori. I admit, I hated you for a long time. But, you know, I see now that you must have become a better person. And you fought for our country. So I thank you for making the ultimate sacrifice. You had your own battles with PTSD. And I don't know what happened, but at least Jesus already won the war, and you're in heaven, and you will not have to suffer again. So I know your soul is resting in peace, and may your body rest in peace as well. And I look forward to us meeting again in heaven, where we can have a true fresh start, where neither one of us will remember anything that happened on this earth, whether with each other or other things that happened to us. We can have a true, fresh start. And there will be nothing but love and joy in heaven for all eternity. And you know what? It wouldn't be so bad if you ended up being my neighbor in the heavenly mansions. Thank you for your sacrifice to our country, and may you rest in peace. And I know you're enjoying it up there. I know I will once I finally get up there, but in the meantime, keep living for the Lord, right? Okay. Everybody, please use this as a lesson that, you know, teenagers do stupid things, okay? And sure, some people never change, but some do. Give people a chance to prove themselves. And you know, there's a saying that goes, love like you've never been hurt, yada yada. It's definitely liberating. And I realize that I've had a short but hate list, but a hate list nonetheless that shouldn't be there, and I'm ready to let it all go. And yes, one of the people on the list I wouldn't reconcile with because she did try to harm my nephew, but that doesn't mean that I can't forgive and let go and have compassion that she's fighting her own battles, but I will protect my nephew at all costs. Make no mistake about that. So, anyways, thank y'all for listening. God bless and love y'all. Bye bye now.